Now listen, you guys. It is currently 4 o'clock in the morning at the time of me recording this, and I woke up for that mess. I'm gonna go crazy. What's going on, you guys? James here with another real recap and review for Love is Blind Season 9 in Denver. And that's right, today is episode 12, the finale. We have our weddings that we're going to get into, who says yes and who says no. In my predictions video, I predicted that one couple would say yes. And boy, might I have been wrong. Now listen here. There are spoilers ahead, clearly. Now, I know I would love to do a spoiler-free review and recap, but that is impossible because there's a lot that happened today in just 1 hour worth of television that's making me question not only this season, but this series. Now, before we even get into my recap and review, if it is your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James, where I love talking about movies, TV, all the news in between, and Love is Blind. So if you do too, hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, tap on the bell, like this video, and get loud in the comments below. I need to hear all of your thoughts. Let me know which wedding ceremony was your least favorite and which one was your least favorite, because there can't be a favorite this week, not after what we're about to talk about. So, guys, let's waste no more time, and let's just get into this thing. Strap on your roller skates. It's about to be a ride. So, episode 12 is titled Vow or Never. So punny, Netflix. And it is 1 day until weddings, so you know what time it is. Bachelorette and bachelor party. I guess if you can call them bachelorette and bachelor parties, because what was the budget here, guys? So let's start with the bachelorette party. There's a little opening, they're dancing and stuff, and Megan's doing something with her knees. I don't know what to call that. It's really giving wine mixer, but producers, have we lost the plot here? It's very lackluster, and I just don't even feel like it is a bachelorette party. And I'm not saying it needs to be your traditional bachelorette party where they do crazy things. No, it's Denver, Colorado. Y'all can't go hiking? You all can't go to the mountains or something, but let's just all stay inside and drink from gold chalices. That doesn't look great to me. Now, they really do focus in on Megan at the start, where they're having a conversation, Megan and her friends, and Megan's friend is saying to Megan, hey, I think that you might have just fallen in love with Jordan because of Luca. And Megan's like, no, that's not true. It's not, right? But listen, I said it in my predictions video. I do think that Megan and Jordan's sole emotional tie is Luca, and Luca having type 1 diabetes because of Megan's father also having had diabetes. So is that enough to get them to the altar and say I do? We shall see. And then we get to Allie, and Allie's friends are probably the most villainous friends of this season. I didn't like them. I didn't like what they were saying. It felt wrong to me. But Allie's friend said, Allie, hey, Anton would be supporting you guys. Yeah, sure, on a budget. She literally said it, on a budget. And I thought to myself, are you... Allie, what? These are your friends? But good on Allie to defend Anton and say, no, he makes really good money. And her friends, unfortunately, said, sure. And it's like, hey, this is weird now, right? But I am a very big proponent of show me your circle of friends and I'll show you who you are. And Allie, if these are two of some of your best friends that are at your bachelorette party and about to be a part of your bridesmaid group, hello, Allie, you might have bigger problems to worry about than whether you say yes or no to Anton at the altar. Because, I don't know, I feel like this isn't really Allie, but her friends are really pressuring her into being someone she's not. And then Allie's friends continue to lay it on thick, and she says, Allie, people would look down on truck drivers for a woman of your caliber. Oh yeah? That's what you think? Truck drivers, they work hard. It is a job. It's a career. What are we doing here? My gosh, I feel like what comes next is exactly what I had anticipated. Allie's friends said they're unhappy in their marriages. So there you go. Yup, that is exactly what I had figured. But you know what, if I had to guess, it's due to them, not the other partner. But hey, I'm just saying. And then all the girls at the bachelorette party are given light-up diamond rings that look like something you get out of a vending machine. Seriously though, production went from sending the guys last season to the Minnesota Vikings practice facility to get them time on the field to a bachelorette party that doesn't even hold a candle to that. I don't know what happened, or if maybe the producers knew more than we did, but like, there was no budget for this bachelorette party. But don't worry, the bachelor party is not any better. So it is also a wine mixer, or is it maybe in the lobby of a Holiday Inn? I have no idea. But we get very quick moments. You blink and this thing is over. Anton says to his friends, yes, I'm going to say I do at the altar. And then we get, oh, that's it? Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's it. We have one Anton soundbite from the bachelor party. And we're moving on. So it's time for our first wedding ceremony of the episode, and it's Allie and Anton's wedding day. Allie says in her confessional that the best case scenario is that they walk out together with rings on their fingers, and hey, she loves him, at least according to her. And in a weird way, I low-key hope Allie says yes, just to spite her friends. Listen, her friends remind me of some like terrible twin sisters. I mean, we all watch Cinderella, right? And it seems like Allie's friends didn't make her that upset because she brought her friends from the bachelorette party as her bridesmaids. It's just gross. And then we get Allie's mom in the bridal suite, and she said that she's scared. And then I'm like, scared for what? Scared for your daughter? No, she's scared because Anton drinks alcohol. And she's like, in our family, we don't drink. And Allie said, no, Mama, I just had a shot. What are we doing? And Allie said, I drank, but not like, in a bad way. And then Allie's mom was like, okay, fine. But him. But props to Allie for saying Anton deserves some grace for the drinking he does. It sounds like they've maybe had some more conversations about it together off camera. So let's check in on Anton. And Anton's mom visits him and is dropping gems. She says something along the lines of this, that Allie needs to appreciate your heart because not everything can be counted in a pocket or with money. And I'm like, oh, you know what? That was kind of a bar. And just a quick production note here, there were no montages from previous pod moments with any of our weddings, and I actually love that. They're taking a page from the other Love is Blind, like UK and France, and good. We don't need pod flashback moments. Okay, side note over. Let's move on. Anton's mom then visits Allie and meets Allie's mom for the very first time. Allie tells Anton's mom, don't worry, I love him. I love Anton, I really do. But do you love him enough, Allie? And then Allie's sisters visit her in the bridal suite, and I was looking for the one who doesn't approve of this marriage, and I found her. She was the one in the back with the blue dress on that let all of her other sisters go and hug Allie, and she's sitting in the back, mean mugging. And I'm thinking, okay, now. Okay, Allie's sister, just not on her wedding day. But this sister said, no matter what happens out there, I'm not going to be happy with it because I don't approve of it. Oh, okay. But then she says, you know what, if you're happy, go for it. Okay, she didn't really say anything reassuring to Allie. So we get to the wedding ceremony and it looks very pretty. And the officiant actually was dropping some dimes too. The officiant said, it's not about finding a perfect other half of your heart, but just finding the half that makes your heart beat. Oh, that's pretty sweet. And that might have been the last sweet thing of this ceremony, because as you can tell, Anton's nervous, he's speed running through his vows, and then it's time for the moment. The officiant asks Anton, do you, Anton, love Allie sight unseen and take her to be your lawfully wedded wife from now and forever? And Anton says, hey, cut it. I do, of course. Come on, bro. Of course, yes. And the officiant said, that was easy. Let's go on to Allie. Allie, why are you crying? And Allie is asked the question, and Allie is getting very emotional, clearly. And I saw her like sway her head a little bit, like no, but I don't know if Anton caught that, because I'm thinking at this point, why is Anton not reacting? But then Allie says, oh boy. And I'm like, well, she doesn't say, oh boy, but she gives like that like exasperated face. And Buddy in the crowd had the same look as I do and the same reaction. Allie eventually says, I can't be your wife. And her reasoning, and she says this at the altar to him, is that Anton is not the man that she fell in love with in the pods. It's just apparently she hasn't experienced that Anton in real life. Oof. I mean, even that little girl in the crowd is crying. Well done, Allie. But honestly, listen, it was probably an emotional moment for everybody. So they all kind of walk away, and Allie's friend gives her some more bad advice. Again, one of the stepsisters that we just don't like from Cinderella. Your heart is never wrong. Actually, yeah, our hearts can be wrong sometimes here, okay? I'm talking about like the decision to cut off somebody on 995 that you didn't want to cut off, but you did it anyway because it said in your heart to do so. No, sometimes, no. That's why you got to lean on the Holy Spirit. Come on now. But, boy, you would think that maybe there would be a little bit of like that in the meeting with Anton afterwards, with Anton's mom and family and friends and loved ones come and meet him and greet him. You would think that they'd say something like, it's okay, it wasn't meant to be. No, one of them says, oh, that cold-hearted... My gosh! And so Allie reveals more in her confessional interview and says that she's mostly upset that she hurt Anton, but that he wasn't forthcoming about his lifestyle. She cites the drinking, the eating, the partying, things that she heard from Anton's friend's girlfriend. And I'm like, boy, man, I feel like they're going to watch this back and Anton's going to look at his friend Joseph and say, you know what? Bro, we ain't friends no more. And so that's the end of Allie and Anton's wedding day, where they do not get married. So now it's time for Kalybriah and Edmond's wedding day. And if you remember in my predictions video, I said that these two would get married. And it's time to find out if I'm correct. Well, Edmond says in his confessional that he's ready to say yes. And of course, he would be ready to say yes. I think that there's no reason for us to not believe that he would want to say yes. Have you not been watching season 9? Edmond begins crying in his changing room, and don't worry, these are the first of many tears, even though this feels appropriate. Then we get a look into Kalybriah's bridal suite, and she's like, where's mom? Oh, I bet she's actually with Edmond because she loves her some Edmond. And I'm like, yeah, have they even met yet? So Kalybriah's mom does visit Edmond, and I'm going to be honest, Kalybriah's mom and Kalybriah, they're like splitting images of one another. And then it was revealed that Edmond's mom could not make the ceremony, and Edmond said it's because she had a couple personal things to take care of. And I'm wondering, what is more important than your son's wedding day? Unless you know something we don't, Edmond's mom. I don't know, you know. But Kalybriah's mom seems incredibly nice, and she gives Edmond her blessing. So out the door goes one mom, and in comes another motherly figure for Edmond, and that is Edmond's teacher, Miss Jessie, I believe is her name. But when she comes in, immediately I thought, oh, this is the teacher that Edmond was talking about in the pods with Kalybriah, the teacher that like basically saved his life. And he is hugging her, they're crying, and they start talking about all their like past moments together. And Edmond was thanking her for even feeding him when he didn't have a meal for himself. And I'm thinking, oh boy, yeah, Edmond had a rough childhood. It's a sweet moment, though, for all intents and purposes. And this is a really good impact that teachers can make on their students. I'm telling you, teachers, sometimes they spend more time with your kids than you do during a day, and you got to make sure that teachers are doing the right thing. And this teacher seemed like she was doing the right thing in the classroom, which is so cool. But it's what Edmond said here that made me like, oh, yeah? And I was like, let me rewind that. Did I hear that right? He said that, you know, he's starting to like say pleasantries to Miss Jessie and the teacher, and he's like, Mama 2 or Mama 1. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't know. Edmond and Edmond's mom, I don't want to assume here, but it does not seem at least that Edmond's mom was always there for him in a good way. Oof. So then we get to their wedding ceremony, and Edmond's walking down the aisle with a pick in his hair. Listen, I know that's been his shtick all season. At one point, he even had like flowers in his hair in Mexico. But I'm like, bro, this is your wedding day. Can we be serious? At least he put a dress shirt underneath his blazer. Thank God. And then Kalybriah arrives, and she's coming out the Maserati. Okay. Out the Maserati? Look at that. Listen, yeah, I know. I expected like an Escalade, maybe like a Ford, but you said Maserati? Okay. Love is Blind. That's where the budget went, not the bachelorette party. It went to the car. And at the altar, I am just so distracted by the amount of lapel pins that Edmond has on his blazer. Like, words are coming out of their mouths. But the whole time I'm looking, I'm like, that's one lapel pin, that's 2, that's 3 and 4. And what is happening here, Edmond? But then we get to the moment we've all been waiting for. Do they say yes or no? The officiant asks Edmond first, and Edmond says,
I do, ooh.
And I'm like, that is to be expected. But remember my predictions. I said that Kalybriah would be at second, and of course she was. And the officiant asks Kalybriah, and the music is super dramatic. Mamma mia. And then she doesn't really say anything. And I'm like, this music is still playing, but what is her answer? Oh my gosh. She does one of these things where she starts crying. She just like tilts her head back and forth. In the moment she did that, Edmond caught on and he lets out this cry. He says, "Oh!" And I started laughing. I'm sorry. I know. I started laughing, but it's not like I wanted to laugh because I feel for him and I feel for her. It's not a good situation, but y'all, I can't hold you. I laughed. Kalybriah finally says something, and she says no, and that she's not 100% at the altar, and that he deserves someone who's 100% at the altar. She tells Edmond, my no doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means I don't love you enough. She asks Edmond at the altar too, hey, Edmond, are you okay? And he says, of course I'm not okay. Like, yeah, what did you think he was going to say? They're having a full-blown conversation at the altar, by the way, and all the guests must be thinking, I got something in my eye. Oh, they're still talking. Okay. Are they still talking? And then Kalybriah says, Edmond, your body is the best I've ever seen. Y'all, save this for after you walk away from the altar. Why are we talking? Anyway, they hold hands, they walk down the altar, and they have another little conversation. And yeah, Edmond said, I just need to go for a walk. Someone get this man his roller skates. He needs to go on more than a walk. So it's sad, of course, but I mean, listen, I thought they were going to get married, and I guess not. Kalybriah then tells Edmond, you are a big stepping stone in my life. And I just don't think that played as nicely as she thought it would. Calling someone a stepping stone in that moment, that probably didn't make Edmond feel any better. But then what happens is Edmond walks away, and Edmond's teacher's there to console him, and she says, listen, Kalybriah just wasn't a diamond. Maybe she's a sapphire, but she wasn't a diamond. God's got other plans for you. And, yes, this, unfortunately for them, wasn't meant to be. And Kalybriah says as much because she tells her mom back at the bridal suite that if she said yes, she would have been miserable. And boy, that is probably going to be tough for Edmond to watch back. So my prediction was wrong for these two. And boy, are we going to strike out with every single marriage this week? No, because now it's time for Megan and Jordan's wedding day. What? What is this? What are we seeing right now? Why is Megan on the couch looking like she's crying? And why is Jordan on the couch? And why are they in an apartment? Oh, no. Oh, no. Megan tells Jordan that she feels they're very different people. And at this point, I'm thinking, are they really about to break up? What is happening this season? Again, I ask the people, the great people of Denver, Colorado. I don't know about, what's in the water? Jordan says he doesn't feel that they're incompatible. And Megan says, but Jordan, listen to me. She tells Jordan that all the men she dated had a flexible schedule. Her and her friends have a flexible schedule. They can go to Aspen. They can go to Italy for happy hour. And Jordan's like, okay, well, that in the pods I told you I was a single dad, and I am a single dad. And so, why did you pick me then? He literally said that, though. He's like, why'd you pick me in the pods? I want to know too, Megan. Megan said that she still has reservations and then tells Jordan, I can't do this. Oh my gosh. Are you out of your mind, Love is Blind? Jordan starts crying and Loki is kind of sad and Megan starts getting emotional, of course. But I cannot believe we're about to have no weddings this week. Jordan says, I have nothing else to say. I actually have to go pick up Luca from school. So Jordan leaves, and Jordan says in a confessional interview that he believes the only difference they had was money. Oh boy. Well, we all could have told you that one, I guess. Jordan is asked if he has any regrets, and he said that, well, my only regret is that I introduced her to Luca, and I wish I never did that. Ouch. But Megan says in a confessional that she never thought about how challenging it would be to be a stepmom. And then Megan says, and this was sad, she wonders if she can even be a mom one day. And I know that's got to take a lot of emotional toll on a woman like that, right? That's tough to have that thought. The only thing is, I will say to this, Megan, Jordan did not hide the fact that he has a child from you in the pods. You didn't have a lot of time in the pods, but you had time to think about whether that would be too much of a challenge for you or not. But you still said yes, and you went and met the kid. Oh, boy. And then at the end of the episode, we have the officiant narrating the montage. And I'm going to be honest. The Lachey's probably heard about what happened and said, y'all, no, we don't have time to narrate a montage for an entire season where no one gets married. Okay? Vanessa can't even say her line. So that's it, y'all. That is how episode 12 in season 9 ends, with 0 Cheerios on the scoreboard in terms of weddings. That's crazy. This has got to be the very first time in Love is Blind history, if I'm not mistaken, that we've gotten 0 weddings from our engaged couples. And this comes on the heels of Lauren and Cameron's baby being born. Good for them. Seriously, God bless them. That's such a beautiful relationship. They're the golden standard for Love is Blind, and it happened several years ago. So it makes me even wonder with Love is Blind, moving forward, your casting has to be better. You cannot get people who just want to come on here for Instagram fame. You got to move away from the now consistent model that we've seen contestants use Love is Blind for, a jumping off point for their influencer lifestyle, a campaign for their social media or their business. So you got to move away from that. And I'm not saying everyone this season on Love is Blind is going to be this mega influencer, but you can tell there were some that came on clearly for the attention. And I mean, yes, to some degree, everyone's coming on here for a little bit of virality, but what are we doing in terms of the show? The experiment has lost the plot. Nobody got married. Instead, this season, for all intents and purposes, can be considered a wash if you're going by the social experiment standards. Of course, for me as a viewer, was it entertaining? Yes. Was there a lot to talk about? Absolutely. And am I going to be covering this reunion next week? You bet your darn... I almost said bottom. Why would I say that? But yes, you bet I'm covering this next week because the reunion is going to be spicy. I know. They all didn't get married. Someone's spilling some tea. Some people have bad feelings. And why do I feel like someone's going to be dating another contestant? I just have this thought in my head. But y'all, there you have it. That's the recap and review for episode 12, the finale of Love is Blind season 9. If you did enjoy all of my thoughts and you had fun with me today, hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, and tap on that bell so you don't miss out on my recap and review for the reunion next week. We're gonna go live, not live on the channel, I should say the video will go up as soon as I finish watching the reunion and then filming and editing it. Okay, so I'm gonna stay up late for y'all. All right, I'm here for you, just like I was here for you today. But thank you for being here for me all season long. I mean, the channel has even broken a new milestone thanks to your support during season 9. So it's been so much fun. I really am praying that all these contestants heal and they seek Jesus. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, thank you so much for your support and for being so kind to me in the comments. I mean, some haven't been, but you know what? That's the game. You know what I mean? That's you give and take. But I still love you guys. Thank you so much for your support and for watching today's recap and review. Yeah, that was a lot. Alrighty, y'all. Well, I'm gonna go in. I can't even say I'm getting some sleep. I just gotta go get ready for more stuff today. More work to do. So thanks again for watching, guys. God bless y'all, and I'll catch you at the next screening.